Good morning or good afternoon, radio fans. Big Al here on this Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, and we are continuing our series of the AM and FM radio stations from across the country with a reissue of the Tampa Bay radio market. This will include radio stations in the Tampa St. Petersburg market, as well as Sarasota to the south and Lakeland to the east. There will also be some stations from north of Tampa included in this list as well. We'll be doing this in two parts. We'll have the FM radio stations reissue coming up later. This video will focus on the AM side of the dial. So before we begin, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and get notified every time I go live. And here we go with the May 2025 reissue of the AM radio stations in the Tampa St. Petersburg market. And we're going to start off on 570, which is WTBN, licensed to Pinellas Park, Florida. This station is known as Faith Talk Tampa Bay, featuring religious and brokered programming. Affiliated with SRN News, the USA Radio Network, among others. WTBN signed on the air as WFSO on March 12, 1966. The station would undergo 3 call sign changes with 3 sets of call letters, and officially became WTBN in 2000. WTBN has a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting at 250 watts during the day and 730 watts at night. Their studios are located at 5211 West Laurel Road in Tampa, with transmitter in Safety Harbor, Florida, on Harbor Lake Drive. WTBN is owned by Salem Media Group and is licensed by Salem Communications Holding Corporation. Programming is relayed on translator station W262CP 100.3 FM in Bayonet Point, Florida. And WTBN's programming is also heard in the Tampa area on WLCC 760 AM in the Tampa suburb of Brandon, Florida, and we'll be going in depth on that station in just a few moments. WTBN is not related in any way, shape, or form to the Trinity Broadcasting Network. 620 is WDAE St. Petersburg, known as 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. This is a sports talk station and the Tampa Bay affiliate of Fox Sports Radio, and this is also the flagship station of the Tampa Bay Rays. WDAE is Tampa Bay's oldest radio station, signing on the air on May 15, 1922. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 5,600 watts during the day and 5,500 watts at night. Their studios are located at 13577 Feather Sound Drive, number 6 in Clearwater. The station's transmitters, both daytime and nighttime, are in the Gandy Bridge Beach area off US 92 in Gandy, Florida. WDAE is owned by iHeartMedia and licensed by IHM Licenses LLC. Programming is simulcast on WRUB 95.7 FM HD3 in Clearwater and relayed on translator station W237CW 95.3 FM in Pinellas Park. Again, WDAE is Tampa Bay's oldest radio station. 680 is WGES St. Petersburg, known as Genesis Radio 680 AM, featuring a Spanish Christian format. This station signed on the air as WPIN on May 5, 1950, and would undergo 4 call sign changes with 4 sets of call letters, and then they would become WGES in 2006. They have a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting at 800 watts during the day and 140 watts at night. Their studios are located at 800 8th Avenue Southeast in Largo, Florida. The station's transmitter is off of Ridgeway Drive Northeast and San Martin Boulevard Northeast in St. Petersburg. WGES, or Genesis Radio 680 AM, is owned by Vision Communications Network Incorporated. Programming is relayed on translator station W225CQ 92.9 FM HD2 in Tampa. 760 is the simulcast of 570, and that's WLCC Brandon, also known as Faith Talk Tampa Bay, with religious and brokered programming affiliated with both SRN News and the USA Radio Network. WLCC signed on the air as WEND in 1988. They would become WBDN in 1993 and WLCC in 1999. They also used WJCZ as its first call sign, but it was never used on the air. WLCC has a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 10,000 watts during the day and 1,000 watts at night. Their studios are located at 5211 West Laurel Road in Tampa. The transmitter is off of North Kingsway Road in Tonawanda, Florida. WLCC is owned by Salem Media Group and licensed by Salem Communications Holding Corporation. Again, programming is simulcast from WTBN 570 in Pinellas Park, and WLCC's programming is relayed on translator station W282CI 104.3 FM in Tampa. 820 is WWBA Largo, known as the Big 8. This features Hot Talk and Sports Talk. And this is the Tampa Bay affiliate of the Infinity Sports Network, or the former CBS Sports Radio. WWBA signed on the air on May 29, 1972 as WSST. And they had an identity crisis, undergoing 5 call sign changes with 5 sets of call letters before becoming WWBA in 2009. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 50,000 watts during the day and 1,000 watts at night. The studios and transmitter for WWBA are located at 800 8th Avenue Southeast in Largo. WWBA, also known as the Big 8, is owned by Genesis Communications and licensed by Genesis Communications of Tampa Bay, LLC. Their programming is relayed on 2 translator stations, W244EG 96.7 FM Tampa and W252DF 98.3 FM Largo. 860 is WGUL Dunedin, Florida, also known as AM 860 The Answer, featuring a conservative talk format. They are affiliated with the Salem Radio Network. WGUL signed on the air as WAZE in 1960. They would become WAMA in 1982 and WGUL in 1986. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 5,000 watts during the day and 1,500 watts at night. Studios are located at 5211 West Laurel Road in Tampa. Their transmitter is off of Harbor Lake Drive in Safety Harbor, same tower used by sister station WTBN. WGUL AM 860 The Answer is owned by Salem Media Group and licensed by Salem Communications Holding Corporation. Programming is relayed on translator station W229DJ, 93.7 FM, Dunedin, Florida. 910 is WTWD Plant City, also known as La Numero Uno, featuring a regional Mexican format. The station signed on the air as WPLA in July of 1949. They would become WFNS in 1990, WSUN in 1999, and officially WTWD in 2001. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 5,000 watts unlimited. Their studios are located at 717 Honroe Avenue in Sarasota. The transmitter is located in Dover, Florida, off of Sydney Dover Road. WTWD is owned by Tomas Martinez and Mercedes Soler Martinez and is licensed by Solmart Media LLC. Programming is relayed on translator station W271CY 102.1 FM Lakeland. 930 is WLSS Sarasota, also known as 930 The Answer. This features a conservative talk format affiliated with Town Hall Radio News and the Salem Radio Network, and this is also the Sarasota affiliate for Florida Gators football and men's basketball. WLSS signed on the air on May 23, 1949 as WKXY on 1540 AM. The station became WUGL in 1999 and WLSS in 2002 and would move to 930 AM sometime in the 1950s. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 5,000 watts during the day and 3,000 watts at night. Their studios are located at 5211 West Laurel Road in Tampa. Their transmitter is off of Lorraine Road in the Lakewood Ranch neighborhood of Sarasota. WLSS is owned by Salem Communications and licensed by Salem Communications Holding Corporation, and programming is relayed on translator station W229BR at 93.7 FM in Bayshore Gardens. 970 is WFLA Tampa, known as News Radio WFLA. This is a news and conservative talk station affiliated with Fox News Radio, NBC News Radio, Compass Media Networks, and Premier Networks. This is the second oldest radio station in Tampa, signing on the air in 1925, originally as WGHB on 11:30 a.m. The station became WFMH and then later WFLA in 1927. They were known as WFLA and WSUN as well in 1927, and then they reverted back to the current WFLA call sign in 1937. The station would move a couple times to 590 AM in 1927, 620 AM in 1929, 940 AM, and later 970, where they are now, in 1941. WFLA has a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 25,000 watts during the day and 11,000 watts at night. Their shortwave station KPM 360 operates at 100 watts. Studios are located at 13577 Feather Sound Drive, number 6 in Clearwater. Their transmitter is in Town and Country, Florida, which is a neighborhood in Tampa, off Deer Valley Circle. WFLA is owned by iHeartMedia and licensed by IHM Licenses LLC. Programming is simulcast on sister station WXTB 97.9 FM HD2 in Clearwater, and relayed on translator stations W233 AV 94.5 FM Gulfport, Florida, and W256 CT 99.1 FM Bayonet Point, Florida. And this radio station in particular, WFLA, originally was co-owned with Tampa Bay's NBC station, WFLA TV Channel 8. 1010 is WJBR AM, Seffner, Florida, known as Podcast Radio US, featuring a format with nothing but podcasts. WJBR AM signed on as WINQ on November 7, 1960. The station would undergo 5 call sign changes with 5 sets of call letters and became WJBR in 2023. And for folks in the Delaware Valley that are familiar with WJBR, this call sign is warehoused from the former WJBR FM, which was an adult contemporary station in Wilmington, Delaware, before being sold to their present owners, VCY America. WJBR AM has a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 50,000 watts during the day and 5,000 watts at night. Their studios are located at 9721 Executive Center Drive North, number 200 in St. Petersburg. The transmitter is off of East Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard or Florida State Route 574 in Dover, Florida. WJBR is owned by Beasley Broadcast Group and licensed by Beasley Media Group Licenses LLC. WJBR's programming is simulcast on WRBQ 104.7 FM HD2 Tampa and relayed on translator station W221DW 92.1 FM, also licensed to Tampa. 1040 is WHBO Pinellas Park, known as News Talk 1040. This is another news and conservative talk station affiliated with USA Radio News, Fox News Radio, NBC News Radio, and Westwood One. This station signed on the air in November of 1948, originally as WHBO. It would become WMTX in 1991, WWBA in 1997, and would return to the WO or WHBO call letters in 2009. The station signed on originally at 10:50 a.m. and moved to 10:40 in the 1980s. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 3,600 watts during the day, 420 watts at night. Their studios are located at 800 8th Avenue Southeast in Largo. The transmitter is in the 8200 block of Cheyenne Drive in Seminole, Florida. WHBO News Talk 1040 is owned by Genesis Communications and licensed by Genesis Communications of Tampa Bay Incorporated. Programming is relayed on translator station W233CV 94.5 FM, licensed to the Tampa suburb of Egypt Lake, Florida. 1110 is WTIS Tampa, known as La Mega Tampa Bay. This is a Spanish contemporary hit station, signing on the air as WALT on December 11th, 1946. The station would become WQYK AM in 1970 and WTIS in 1976. They have a Class D license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting at 10,000 watts during the day and 5,500 watts during critical hours, which is 2 hours before local sunrise, or rather 2 hours after local sunrise and 2 hours before local sunset. Studios are located at 2030 South 50th Street in Tampa. Their transmitter is on St. Paul Street near South 54th Street, also in Tampa. WTIS is owned by George and Esperanza Arroyo and licensed by Q Broadcasting Corporation, Incorporated. WTIS is a daytimer and must sign off the air at local sunset on 11:10 a.m. However, programming is relayed 24 hours a day on translator station W266CW at 101.1 FM in Tampa. 1130 is WWBF Bartow, known as Classic Hits 1029 WBF, featuring a classic hits format. Affiliated with Westwood One and Fox News Radio. WWBF signed on the air on September 6, 1969 as WPUL. And the station officially became the present WWBF in 1984. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 2,500 watts days and 500 watts nights. Studios and transmitter are located at 1130 Radio Road in Bartow. WWBF is owned by Thornburg Communications Incorporated, and programming is relayed on translator stations W246DX 97.1 FM Winter Haven and W275AX 102.9 FM Bartow. 1150 broadcasting in high definition is WTMP Egypt Lake, known as WTMP AM 1150 and 102.1 FM. This station recently changed its format to Sports Talk and is the new home of ESPN Radio in Tampa Bay. WTMP signed on the air in December 1954. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 10,000 watts during the day and 500 watts at night. Studios are located at 2005 Pan Am Circle in Tampa. The transmitter is located off of Cavalcade Drive in Egypt Lake, which is WTMP's city of license. WTMP is officially owned by Neil Ardman and licensed to NIA Broadcasting Incorporated. Programming is relayed on translator stations W225CQ 92.9 FM HD1 Tampa and W271DL 102.1 FM Egypt Lake. 1220 is WSRQ Sarasota, known as the new SRQ, featuring a classic hits format. They are the Sarasota affiliate of both the Tampa Bay Rays and the Tampa Bay Lightning. They also have a news and weather partnership with WWSB-TV, Channel 40, which is licensed to Sarasota as an ABC station and serves the southern portions of the Tampa Bay market. WSRQ signed on the air on January 1st, 1961 as WSAF. The station would become WQSA in the 1980s, WIBQ in 2002, and the current WSRQ in 2007. They have a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting at 770 watts during the day, but they reduce power significantly to 15 watts at night. Their studios are located at 3679 Weber Street, and the transmitter is in the 1100 block of East Gardenia Street, both located in Sarasota. WSRQ is owned by the Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine Incorporated, which is based out of Erie, Pennsylvania. Programming is simulcast on WSRQ FM 106.9 in Zolfo Springs, Florida, and WVIJ 91.7 FM in Port Charlotte. Short spaced next to them on 1230 is WONN Lakeland, known as Fox Sports Lakeland, featuring a sports talk format. Affiliated with Fox Sports Radio, and they broadcast Florida Gators football and Tampa Bay Buccaneers football in Lakeland. This station signed on the air on September 15th, 1949. They have a Class C license with the FCC, broadcasting at 1,000 watts. Their studios and transmitter are located at 404 West Lime Street in Lakeland. WONN is owned by Hall Communications Incorporated, and programming is simulcast on WWRZ 98.3 FM HD2 in Fort Meade, and relayed on translator station W296CS 107.1 FM Lakeland, which in turn relays WWRZ HD2. 1250 is WHNZ Tampa, known as 1250 and 105.9 WHNZ. This is a mix of business news and talk radio, affiliated with Bloomberg Radio, Compass Media Networks, and Premier Networks. WHNZ signed on as the original WDAE on May 15, 1922, and would become WHNZ in 2000. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 25,000 watts during the day and 59,000 watts, or rather 5,900 watts, at night. Studios are located at 13577 Feather Sound Drive number 6 in Clearwater. Their transmitter is located in the Town and Country section of Tampa in the 7500 block of Deer Valley Circle. WHNZ is owned by iHeartMedia, licensed by IHM Licenses LLC. Programming is simulcast on WMTX 100.7 FM HD2 Tampa and relayed on translator station W290BJ 105.9 FM West Tampa. .1280 has two stations. The first is WIPC Lake Wells, Florida, known as Radio Esperanza 96.9 and 1280, featuring a Spanish Christian format. This station originally was known as WIPC when they signed on the air in July of 1951. They would become WKZJ in 1989 and returned to their original WIPC call sign at an undisclosed date. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 1,000 watts during the day and 150 watts at night. Studio location is taken from radiolocator.com, which in turn got it from the FCC database, and it may be outdated. Their studios, according to Radio Locator, is located at 630 Mountain Lake Cutoff Road in Lake Wells, which is also where the station's transmitter is. WIPC is owned by Super W Media Group Incorporated, and programming is relayed on translator station W245DO 96.9 FM, Lake Wells, Florida. The second station on 1280 is WTMY Sarasota, branded as La Numero Uno, featuring a regional Mexican format. The station signed on the air as WYND in December of 1960. They would become WWZZ on an undisclosed date, and then WSGX in 1988, and the current WTMY in 1991. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 300 watts during the day and 100 watts at night. Studios are located at 717 Honro Avenue in Sarasota. Their transmitter is on City Island at 1751 Ken Thompson Parkway, also in Sarasota. WTMY is owned by Tomas Martinez and Mercedes Soler and licensed by Solmart Media LLC. Programming is relayed on translator station W256DI 99.1 FM Sarasota. 1300 is WQBN, Temple Terrace, Florida. This is a Tampa suburb. They're known as Super Q 1300, featuring a Spanish variety format. The station signed on the air in circa 1981 as WSOL. It would become WTYM later that year, and then WQBN in 1987. They have a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting at 5,000 watts during the day and 16 watts at night. Studio location is unlisted or possibly located in Tampa somewhere. Their transmitter is at 5207 East Washington Street, which is in Tampa. WQBN is owned by Christian and Roberto Vallejo and operated by Crespeto Enterprises Corporation. Programming is simulcast on WTMP 96.1 FM, Dade City, Florida, and relayed on translator stations W294CR 106.7 FM, Tampa, and W280FD 103.9 FM, Largo. 1320 is WDIZ, Venice, known as Oldies 1320. This is an oldies station affiliated with Premier Networks. They signed on the air on February 1st, 1960 as WAMR. They would undergo 3 call sign changes using 3 sets of call letters before becoming WDIZ in 2020, so not too long ago. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 5,000 watts during the day and 1,000 watts at night. Their studios are located at 1680 Fruitville Road, Suite 401 in Sarasota. The transmitter is located off of North Auburn Road in Venice. WDIZ is owned by iHeartMedia and licensed by IHM Licenses, LLC. 1330 and 1360 both have the same programming. You have WWAB Lakeland on 1330 and WHNR in Cypress Gardens on 1360. Both stations are known as Boss Hog Radio, which I didn't write in my notes for some reason. Both featuring a variety hits format, and both stations are affiliated with Fox News Radio and Premier Networks. WWAB Lakeland signed on as WYSE in 1957 and later became WWAB. WHNR Cypress Gardens signed on December 29, 1958 as WINT, originally licensed to Winter Haven. They would become WZNG in 1972, WYXY in 1983, and WHNR in 1990. WWAB Lakeland on 1330 has a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting at 1,000 watts during the day and 118 watts at night. WHNR Cypress Gardens on 1360 has a Class B license, operating at 5,000 watts during the day and 2,500 watts at night. Studios for both stations are located at 906 West Sam Allen Road in Plant City. WWAB's transmitter is at 1203 Chase Street in Lakeland, while the WHNR transmitter is off of Dundee Road in Winter Haven. Both stations are owned by Ferris Waller and are licensed by Walco Enterprises, LLC. Programming is simulcast on daytime station WKFL 1170 AM in Bushnell, Florida, which covers the Orlando area, and 24-hour stations WAVP 1390 in Avon Park, which covers Sebring, and WZHR 1400 AM in Zephyr Hills, Florida, which covers the northern portions of the Tampa Bay market, and we'll talk more about that station in just a moment. 1340 and 1350 have the same programming. 1340 is WTAN Clearwater, and 1350 is WDCF Dade City. Both stations identify as the Tan Talk Radio Network. Featuring talk radio and adult standards music, both affiliated with the Tan Talk Radio Network, NBC News Radio, and The Music of Your Life, which I think is syndicated by Westwood One, I'm not sure. Okay, and both stations have been on for a while. WTAN signed on in 1948, while WDCF signed on in 1954. WTAN Clearwater on 1340 has a Class C license with the FCC, broadcasting at 1,000 watts. WDCF Dade City on 1350 has a Class B license, operating at 1,000 watts during the day and 500 watts at night. Their studios are at 706 North Myrtle Avenue in Clearwater, with the WTAN transmitter right next door to the studios at 704 North Myrtle Avenue in Clearwater, while WDCF's transmitter is at 37905 WDCF Drive in Dade City. Both stations are owned by Wagonvord Advertising Group Incorporated. Translator station W291CW 106.1 FM Clearwater relays WTAN, while transmitter station W272EH 102.3 FM Dade City relays WDCF. 1380 is WWMI St. Petersburg. This is the Tampa Bay affiliate of Relevant Radio, featuring a Catholic radio format affiliated, of course, with Relevant Radio. The station signed on the air on November 30th, 1939 as WTSP. And this station is in no relation to current CBS television station WTSP TV Channel 10. WTSP Radio originally signed on at 1370 AM and moved to 1380 in 1941, and also underwent 3 call sign changes with 3 sets of call letters before they became WWMI in 1999. That was around the time they became a Radio Disney station. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 9,800 watts during the day and 6,500 watts at night. Programming is originated from Relevant Radio's headquarters at 1496 Bellevue Street, number 202 in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The station's transmitter is off of Gandy Boulevard North, near the TV studios of WTSP Channel 10, which is located in St. Petersburg. WWMI is owned by Relevant Radio Incorporated, and programming is relayed on translator station W260DM, 99.9 FM, St. Petersburg. 1400 is the aforementioned WZHR Zephyr Hills, known as Boss Hog Radio. This features a variety format, primarily oldies, classic country, and rockabilly music. Affiliated with Fox News Radio and Premier Networks. The station signed on as WZRH on May 9th of 1962. It would become WPAS in 1963 and the present WZHR in 1994. They have a Class C license with the FCC, broadcasting at 1,000 watts unlimited. Their studios are located at 906 West Sam Allen Road in Plant City, and the transmitter is off of Fort King Road in Zephyr Hills. WZHR is owned by Ferris Waller and licensed by Walco Enterprises Incorporated. Programming is simulcast on WHNR 1360 AM, Cypress Gardens, Florida, which covers the Lakeland area. We talked about that station moments ago. WKAB 1170 AM in Bushnell, covering the Orlando area. WWAB 1330 AM in Lakeland. We also talked about that station. WAVP 1390 AM Avon Lake, and is relayed on translator station W282CC 104.3 FM Zephyr Hills. Next up is 1420 WBRD Palmetto. They're known as Radio Leader 1420 or Catorce Vienta, featuring a regional Mexican format. The station signed on the air on July 31st, 1958. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 2,500 watts during the day and 1,000 watts at night. Studio location is unlisted, possibly located in Bradenton. Their transmitter is off of 33rd Street West in Palmetto. WBRD is owned by Birace Broadcasting Corporation. 1430 is WLKF Lakeland. Talk Radio 96.7, featuring a talk format affiliated with Fox News Radio, Premier Radio Networks, Westwood One, and Fox News Talk, and this is also the Lakeland affiliate of the Florida State Seminoles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. WLKF signed on the air on May 15, 1936, making it one of the area's oldest radio stations. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 500 watt or 5,000 watts rather during the day and 1,000 watts at night. Their studios are located at 404 West Lime Street in Lakeland. Their transmitter is at the end of East Lime Street in Lakeland. WLKF is owned by Hall Communications Incorporated. Programming is simulcast on WWRZ 98.3 FM HD4 in Fort Meade. and license, or rather relay on translator station W244BJ 96.7 FM in Lakeland. 1450 S2 stations. The first is WSDV Sarasota, known as 1039 KISS FM, featuring a hot adult contemporary format with Christmas music during the holiday season. WSDV signed on as WSPB on December 7, 1939. The station would undergo 5 call sign changes with 4 sets of call letters and became WSDV in 2006. They have a Class C license with the FCC, broadcasting at 1,000 watts unlimited. Their studios are at 1680 Fruitville Road, Suite 401. The transmitter is at 1751 Kent Thompson Parkway on City Island, both located in Sarasota. 1039 KISS FM WSDV is owned by iHeartMedia and licensed by IHM Licenses LLC. Programming is simulcast on WSRZ 107.9 FM HD2 in Coral Cove, Florida, and relayed on translator station W280EV 103.9 FM Sarasota. The second station on 1450 is WWJB Brooksville, known as 1039 The Boot, featuring a country music format and affiliated with local radio networks. WWJB signed on the air on October 11, 1958. They have a Class C license with the FCC, broadcasting at 1,000 watts. Their studios are located at 55 West Fort Dale Avenue in Brooksville. Mailing address is P.O. Box 1507, Brooksville, Florida 34605. The transmitter is also in Brooksville, off Whitfield Avenue near Cortez Boulevard. WWJB is owned by Hernando Broadcasting Company Incorporated, and programming is relayed on translator stations W222CI 92.3 FM Brooksville and W280DK 103.9 FM Spring Hill. 1460 is WQXM Bartow, also known as La Caliente 99.9. This is a Spanish top 40 CHR station, signing on the air as WRMX on September 30th, 2004. And originally on October 23rd, 1953 as WBAR. The station would officially become WQXM towards the end of 2004. They have a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting at 10,000 watts during the day and 155 watts at night. Studios and transmitter are located at 1355 North Maple Avenue in Bartow. WQXM is owned by Denise Hernandez and licensed by Prime Broadcasting Incorporated. Programming is relayed on translator station W260DA 99.9 FM Bartow. 1470 is WMGG Egypt Lake, also known as Ritmo 101.9, featuring a Spanish tropical format. The station signed on in 1954 as WDCL, licensed originally to Tarpon Springs. And this station had quite the identity crisis, undergoing 11 call sign changes with 11 sets of call letters. The station officially became WMGG in 2009, and there is no word on when the station moved its city of license from Tarpon Springs to Egypt Lake. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 2,800 watts during the day and 800 watts at night. Studios are located at 800 8th Avenue Southeast in Largo, Florida, and their transmitter is in Tampa off Cavacay Drive. WMGG is owned by Daniel De La Rosa and licensed by DRC Broadcasting Incorporated. Programming is relayed on translator station W270DV 101.9 FM Tampa, and this is the Spanish flagship station of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I did not write that down in my notes. 1490 has two stations. The first is WSIR Winter Haven, known as Rejoice 1490 WSIR, featuring an urban gospel format. The first official sign-on is May 22nd, 1974. That was the day the license was granted to the station by the FCC. They have a Class C license with the FCC, broadcasting at 1,000 watts unlimited. Studio location is unlisted, may be located in either Winter Haven or Lakeland. The transmitter is on in the South Lake Howard Nature Park on 21st Street Southwest in Winter Haven. WSIR is owned by Ferris Waller and licensed to Walpole Enterprises Incorporated. WSIR may be off the air at the present time due to economic problems during the COVID-19 pandemic. So they may not be broadcasting at the present time. The second station on 1490 is WWPR, Bradenton, Florida. Known as 1490 WWPR AM, featuring talk and brokered programming. The station broadcasts in English on weekdays and in Spanish on weekends. WWPR is affiliated with Genesis Communications Network and the USA Radio Network. WWPR signed on the air in 1946 as WDHL. They would undergo 4 call sign changes with 4 sets of call letters and became WWPR in 1995. And before we continue, this station is in no relation to iHeartMedia hip-hop station WWPR FM in New York, as they both have the same call letters. They have a Class C license with the FCC, broadcasting at 800 watts. Studios are located at 5910 Cortez Road West, number 130 in Bradenton. The transmitter is also in Bradenton, off of 26th Avenue East. WWPR AM is owned by Vidify Media Incorporated. Okay, we got a few more stations left, and then we'll be done with the AM side of the dial. 1500 and 1520 are pretty much the same station. You've got WPSO in Newport Richey, Florida on 1500. And WXYB Indian Rocks Beach, Florida on 1520. WPSO identifies on air as Greek Voice Radio, and there is no brand for WXYB. On 1500, you'll hear a Greek variety format. And on 1520, you'll hear brokered programs in Greek, Spanish, and other languages. WPSO signed on the air in 1963. WXYB also signed on the air in 1963, on May 11th to be exact, as WGNB, and became WXYB later. Both stations have Class D licenses with the FCC. WPSO broadcasts during daytime hours at an effective radiated power of 250 watts, while WXYB operates at 1,000 watts during the day and 13 watts at night. Studio locations for both stations is unlisted. The WPSO transmitter is in Newport Richey off US Highway 19 near Palmetto Road, while the WXYB transmitter is in Seminole on Cheyenne Drive North. Both stations are owned by ASA Broadcasting and licensed by ASA Broadcasting Incorporated. WPSO's programming is relayed 24 hours a day on translator station W270DH, 101.9 FM, Newport Richey. WPSO is a daytime-only station and must sign off the air at local sunset on 1500. However, the translator at 101.9 relays their programming 24 hours a day. 1530 is WENG Inglewood. News Talk 1530, the information station. This is a news talk station affiliated with Fox News Radio, Premier Networks, Westwood One, and Compass Media Networks. WENG signed on the air on November 15, 1964. They have a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting at 1,000 watts during the day and only 1 watt at night. Studios are located at 1355 South River Road in Inglewood, same as their transmitter. WENG is owned by Joe Florini and licensed to Fiorini Broadcasting LLC. Programming is relayed on translator stations W251CU 98.1 FM Port Charlotte and W298AV 107.5 FM Inglewood. 1550 is WAMA Tampa, also known as La Ley, 107.7 FM y 1550 AM, featuring a regional Mexican format. The station signed on as WYOU in 1961 and became WAMA in 1986. They have a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting at 10,000 watts during the day and 133 watts at night. Studios are located at 2030 South 50th Street. Their transmitter is near the intersection of South 54th Street and St. Paul Street, both located in the city of Tampa. WAMA is owned by George and Esperanza Arroyo and licensed by Q Broadcasting Corporation. WAMA's programming is simulcast on WLBE 790 AM in Leesburg, Florida, which is not on this list, and relayed on translator station W299CI 107.7 FM in Tampa. Final page, final two stations. 1570 is WTWB Auburndale, known as La Raza. 92.7 FM, 95.5 FM, and 1570 AM, featuring a regional Mexican format. This station signed on the air on October 10th, 1956. They have a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting at 5,000 watts during the day and 13 watts at night. Studios are located at 127 Glen Road in Auburndale. And their transmitter is also on Glen Road, across from the station, also in Auburndale. WTWB is owned by Carpenter's Home Church Incorporated. Programming is relayed on translator stations W224CF 92.7 FM and W238CV 95.5 FM, both of which are licensed to Auburndale. The final station on the AM band is 1590 WHOT. This is licensed to the Tampa neighborhood of Palm River, Claremelle, Florida. They're known as Radio Nouvelle Lumiere, featuring a Haitian Creole format. The station signed on the air as WILZ on December 4th, 1957. They would become WRXB in 1976, WTPA in 2019, and recently WHOT in 2021. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting at 9,800 watts during the day and 160 watts at night. Studios are located at 1700 North 58th Street, Suite J in Tampa. The transmitter is also in Tampa at 5207 East Washington Street. WHOT is owned by Gulf Coast Broadcasting and licensed by Tampa Radio Incorporated. Programming is relayed on translator station W241DH on 96.1 FM, currently licensed to Bradenton, but the translator will move into the Tampa St. Pete market. And that's a look at the AM radio stations across Tampa Bay, Sarasota, and Lakeland as we reissued those stations for May 2025. Sorry about that. We will be back in a few hours and we'll run down the FM radio stations reissue for the Tampa Bay market as well as Lakeland and Sarasota. So make sure you join me for that. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching and happy listening. Peace out.